Yeah, hi.
Hi, Arvind.
Hi. Good morning. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, you can start.
I think we shall wait for another 1 minute to let's see for
Yeah,
the
let's
joining.
give 3 minutes and then we'll see. Okay.
Yes.
Hello, welcome, GK. Hey, GK. Okay, maybe Arpita, we can start now. Okay.
Yes, okay, Arvind. So, good evening, GK. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's exciting Uipath event. We are thrilled to have you all here as we dive into the world of RPA and explore the powerful impact it has on business today. Whether you are new to automation or a seasoned pro, today is about discovering the limitless possibilities that UiPath offers in driving efficiency, reducing cost, and accelerating digital transformation. Let's start with the pro inception introduction. I am Arpita, Inside Sales Lead. I have Arvind with me, the speaker and the managing director of Pro Inception IT Services. So, Pro-Inception IT services have started past 9 years back. We are into delivering exceptional value through innovative IT solutions that redefine digital transformation. We specialize in low-code, RPA, and iPaaS alongside IT transformation consulting services. With the experience with leading IT providers and global fortune companies, we leverage our deep expertise to guide customers through a seamless and impactful digital transformation journey. So, Arvind, let's take over the rest with you, and you can take over the event.
Thank you. Thank you, Arpita. Thank you for introductions. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the sessions. So today I'm going to talk about the Uipath Web Apps project and how it is different from the previous version and what is the use case, and we will talk about that. So the main features, if you have seen that, like UiPath apps is a kind of event-based rules and everything, so it has been changed now, and now it's kind of a unified apps. So I mean, you can create your process, you can do everything into Web Studio. So going further, what will happen is like you all the Web Studio will get moved into UiPath Studio will get Apps Studio will get moved into Web Studio. So the you can see here overview, a new integration between apps and Studio Web, enabling the creation of web app project with inline automations. Then key features like a combines web app development, automation tools, a streamlined process. So now you don't have to go here and there and build your process, integrate those process. Now you can develop everything at a one place and you can integrate everything very much seamless. Support business specification, workflow, customer centric solutions. You can do everything. Then now you can directly access through web browser, and it's a very fast in the user. You can say the page loads and everything, and then you have more features like a debugging and anything. So advantage of that, you can integrate your automation, simplify your automations with into Web Studio, and then you can do a rapid development and scalable solutions. Now we have some web app activity, whatever you would have seen into event rules earlier. Now it becomes a kind of a web app activity, and that is called close web apps page, close pop-up, show app message, show hide apps spinner, and open URL in apps, submit action. These kind of activities has been enabled into your web app project now into a studio. Then there are some benefits. You can build your automation uninterrupted, and you can interact with your automations without uninterrupted, and don't need to go here and there now to build your automation. Build it faster in a single platforms and create web apps and backed by API and powerful UI, and then you can debug it, and then you can perform solid runtime performance. Performance are much more faster compared to the last version of apps. Now we'll go and see how we are creating an apps, how we have written, we are going to write the rules and everything into Uipath apps now, and we'll see how it works. So let me go and share. Okay, so now what you have to do, guys, you have to go into your studio, Web Studio, and then the moment you go into Web Studio automation, you can see here a new project, and then there will be a icons that is called new web app project. So you have what you have to do, you have to create new web app project, and then you can import also, otherwise you can create from template. And this new project is similarly like you can create a process for, you can say, and you can create a project for process and everything like a serverless. But if you want to create any apps, what you need to do, you need to go and select new web app project. The moment you select new web app project, it will go and create a project for you. And you can see how fast it is. It is so fast compared to the previous one. And now you can see here you have autopilots as well. So now you can create a page through autopilots and you can generate your page. Earlier, you could have seen that when you are doing autopilots, you can select whether do you want to generate entity and all. Right now, you cannot. So what you can do, you can just go and create your page and then generate it. So let's say I don't want to generate anything, or if you say I want to generate employee info collection page, the moment I say create page with collect employee info and you send it, this will generate a nice page for you. So now you can see this generated one page for me, and then you can go here and you can change the project name also. So let's say this is employee details. Okay. So now this got generated one page, and now what you can go and see in the UI things like all the context browser, or you can say the controls and everything has moved back to the left menu. So now you can go and open your toolbox, and now you can keep your toolbox always open, and then you can drag and drop all the controls, and you can write the rules and everything. Now go back here, go to your project, and now you can go here and you can see there are a couple of options, whether you can create your page, workflow, or automation folder, actions, and variables. So you must be seeing that there are something which is missing. I mean, you cannot see storage bucket things, you cannot see any data service, integration service, and anything here, right? Now, everything has been moved into process. So you can build your automation and you can call your automation directly through Uipath apps. So let's go and see how it works in the real world, right? So now let me go and say, I want to build a kind of entity to collect this information. So now I can go here into data service and I can say employee. And then I create this entity. And then if I go here, employee, I can say create new fields. And then what I can do, I can say full name, email, phone number, department, full name, email, department, phone number, position, and started. Phone number, position, and then I can say start date, and then I can select date and time. So now I have one service here. You can say data service entity, which I have created employee. And now I want to save the data. I want to capture the data. How can we do that? Right. So earlier, how it was, you can go and add your data service here, and then you can go and kind of write your rules, and you can just pass the value. You can do the mappings and everything. Right. Now, what you have to do, you have to go to your full name, last name, and everything. Now, what I will do, now I have to go and create a rules to event-based rules. So now all the event rules has been moved into automations. So this is much better who knows our real world automations, who knows very much RPA and everything. So you can go and you can say define automations. The moment you say define automations, it will create a process here. I mean, it will create an XML file, and that XML file is binded with this process. I mean, now you have edit automation. So what you can do, you can go and edit these automations, and you can do certain things here. So what I can do, I can go and say create records. So here you can see here create entity records, or I can say create entity records. See here, so you can see whatever this plus icons, this is all newly added. And now if you say create entity records, so you don't have to do any connections because now it's already connected with your tenant. So what you need to do, you just need to go and select your entity. So now you can see I have just created an employee, and what you need to do, you need to go and select employee, and then you just need to pass this value. How can you do that? So what you can do, like show additional property and everything. So I want to create it, so I can just simply go here and I want to map this department. So I can say use variables, and if I go to employee information page, I can say here employee full name, and I can say value. That's it. Now if I want to pass the email here, I go to use variables and I can say emails. So let's say where is emails here, and I can say value. So this is my email. Now I want to pass not full name, this is department. Now if I go to each variables, and if I want to pass department, go and select this, and I can say selected item, data source, and then I can say selected item, whatever. And then I can say full name. So I can go here, full name, and I can select the value, right? So I can say value. So now we can see this how it has creating, and I mean you can see the output records. It's a store into a variables, and you can see everything. So now I want to perform a message here. So I can say show message, show apps message, right? So I can say show apps message, and then I can say success, and then I can say record, record saved successfully, and then I can go and change whether success or anything. So now you can see that how it works in the real time. And then what I can say here, if I want to go to another page, I can do that. But now let's go and see how it works. Now if I go and go do a test automation, now you can see the real magic. You can see a stop, continue, a next item. And then in the other panel, you can see this is getting generating all the files, and it's trying to build your project, right? And then it's a building a project, and then your template agent is initializing, and then everything has been initialized, and then your apps get connected and it's running here. So now you can see, let's go, if I put here my name, If I say start date, and now if I say submit, see here, success, record saved successfully. And now if I go to my data service, let's see whether records has been added or not. Now you can see here, one record has been added. So now what you can see, like we have eliminated lot of steps as well. Now you can go, you can add easily, and in this process you can do a lot of other things, right? So this is what you can do into apps. And now let me go and show you some things. Now a lot of people will come. Now I want to get the records. I want to display my all the records on the home page. How can I do that? So let's say I want to build another page, and I can say build a home page for employee. So let's say let's see what employee information, employee home page. What I will do, I will remove right on this one. Now I want to add another controls here, which display my list of records. How can I do that? So now I can go here and say I want to display into tables all the saved records. So I just dragged and dropped my tables here. And now what you need to do, you need to go to events. And now if you remember earlier, we had a data source, and in the data source, you go and select your data source, whether it comes from app variables or whether it comes from your entity or anything. So now you can just go and write your automations. You can just go and build your automations here. And now what you need to do, you need to just do like a get records, get entity, query entity records, this one. So now if I say query entity records, and then what you have to do here, you just need to select your table entity. So let's say I want to go and say employee. And then here, what you have to do, you have to go and set maybe sort by, or if you want to change something, and then this will be total records and output records. That's it. Now, if I go back to my tables, you can see here, oh, not event, sorry. So let me delete this. Now you need to go to your data source and create workflow. So the moment you say create workflow, it will go and tell you which entity you want to build. So let me go and say here, what is the error? One sec. So I will say here, remove this. Okay, and then I can say query entity records, and then I can simply say employee. And then now if I go to here, it should automatically load the data. One sec, why this is not coming? So now if you go here, we are loading your workflow in meantime. One sec. Okay, let me refresh. So I will go and delete this. And if I go here, I can say delete this. And then I can say create records, query entity records, rename activity. I can say rename test. Okay. There is some problem. Let me do 1 second. Let me add another control here once again. And if I go to display, yeah, let me say if I put edit create, and I want to display here, I can say create workflow. Records builder. So I can say there is some problem. Let me show you quickly what we can do. So let's say if you go here and then what you can do, you can go and see here, I have a tables, and in the tables, all the records are there. And if I edit the records, automatically it's coming from query entity records, right? So similarly, I can go and you can filter it out and you can build the details and everything. So let me go and show you again. So I can go and delete this. Okay, there could be some problem. Let me go to entity and update entity. And you can see there is one employee and one records. Okay, there could be some problem. You can see that. Okay, let's go here now and let's delete this page. And what you can do now, you can add another page and you can say dummy page. And now if I want to just, you can say, so now if you want to, I have built a new page and if I want to add a controls, and if I just go here and add a controls, table controls, you can easily go and build this. Okay, there is some problem with this activity right now, maybe some deployment or something. Okay, we can go that. Now, the major things what we can see, like you can go and build your application and you can go and build your activities and everything. So what you can do now, you can go and add your workflow also and you can build automation folder. So now if you want to build a folder here, you can say process, right? And then inside this process, if you want to add any workflow, so let's say I want to add workflow for update records, right? And then what you can do, you can go into update records and then you can build your again all the automations, all the query and everything. Similarly, now what you can do on the app variable side, now you can see there is no, I mean, let's say test. All right, there is some problem. So it is coming into background. So this is there. So now what you can do, now we need to debug this process. Let's go with the debugging now. Debugging is the one of the major change into major addition into Web Studio. So what you can do now, suppose I want to debug this, whether my record got saved or not, or how many records are there. So let's say I want to get number of records in this page, employee details, employee info. So what I can do here, employee info, I can go and say add, I can say go and add a display, and in the display I can say total count. Let's say total records, right? And then what I can do on this employee information page, I can go and write up automations. And in these automations, I can say query entity records. And the moment I say query entity records, I can go and select the employee. And then what I can do, I can set the value directly to this variable. So I don't need to go and build again and again. So what I can do, I can go and set variable, set variable value, right? So what you can do, you can go and select directly that particular control. So like say, go and change the variables. And if we go here and I can say that label name is something called total label. So I can say total label value. I want to set how many records are that. So I can go here and I can say, you can say here use variables, or I can say, yeah, use variables, and I can go here and then you can see there are output records. You can get the items also one by one, or I want to set the total records at the runtime. The page loads, I want to set the total records. Then what I can do, I can go to editors and I can say dot to a string as this is kind of value. So now what I want to do, I want to see, let's see how this value gets set from the your automation to the your app side. So let me go and see. So now you can see here one record, right? And suppose in the background, if I go here and I try to add multiple records, let's say I want to add multiple records, test, and I want to add test one. Now if I go and stop this and try to test again, now you can see three records on the runtime, right? So let's go and see. Now you can see three records. So what was earlier? Earlier you had to go and write your logics, you have to store into your variables, and you can do that as well now. But now the good thing, like you can write your automation, you can get the records, and you can set the value directly to your app. So you don't have to do a lot of kind of complex thing, and you can do a lot more, a lot kind of complex things over there into this automation. Now we'll go and see how we can debug it. So now let's say I want to put here something, say set variables value, and then I want to set maybe the by default when page loads, I can say here value, and then you can see how it works, right? I can say user context dot user dot current user dot display name, right? So this will go and set to the particular field. But what I want to do, I want to get these query records. I want to get the first record. So what I can do here, let's say set app variables. And if I want to go here, change variables, and you say, I want to set something into, you can say employee position. And then I can say value, and then I can say use expression. So I can say here, get, you can say here, get employee position from employee output, and let's see how it works. So 1 second. So this is my output. I can say output records, right? Get first position from output records. And you can just try it here and see your total records. And either you can see output out records, total records. So you can write that expression and you can do that. Let me go and show you like how debugging works in the real time. So what I can do now, I can go and put the debuggers on this part. So now if I show you this add breakpoint. So now I have added a breakpoint and I want to run into these automations. So the moment I run these automations, it will go and run into runtimes and see how it works. So now you can see there is a pause button because this automations into debugging mode, right? And now what I can do, I can go here and I can see all the steps has been successful, but I want to check something, some value from database or something, how the value is loading in the background, which I'm using as a kind of a project. So how we can debug that. So what you can do, now you have something called watch list here. So you can open the watch panel, and then what you can do, you can see here, you can say out argument dot 1 second out records. So now you can see here 1 second panel, or you can say employee details dot. If you put total records also, This will give you the value here, total records. So now you can debug it. Now you can see what the value is coming. Suppose I say user dot, what users is there? User dot current user dot display name. So now you can see here this debugging, and now you can just enter it. This will give you the current names and you can debug it. So I mean, you can create your variables and you can use that one inside your workflow, or you can use inside your process. And now earlier what it was like, if you have to debug it, you have to put some message, whether it is creating it or it is not creating or anything. And then after that, you have to test it. Now what you can do, you can at the runtime you can debug it and you can test it and you can do that. Now suppose I'm in a debugging mode, I want to do something like I want to put a debugger on another workflow. Yes, I can do that. So let's go here and I can say continue. So it will come here and then you can say Arvind Kumar and submit. So what I can do now, I want to put debugger here. Maybe let's go here. I want to, you can change the debugger also. Now let's go and put this one something here. Second. So let me go and put my debugging thing happening in a second. So now I want to put the debuggers into my submit button. So now if I go here on submit and if I say edit automations, so now I want to show apps message. Before that, I want to put a breakpoint here, right? So what I can do here, I can go and debug it again. So let's go and debug. So let it run. So now you can see if I put here a stop or next, continue, and I can just go and enter email address. I can select anything and I say submit. Now you can see this debugger. And where is the debugger? We'll go and see. This is coming on the show app message. And then record has created successfully, right? Now you can see what is the output out records. If you go here, I can see here, maybe you say out. Out records. Okay, so now you can go and debug it and you can get the value also. So now suppose I want to see what is the value into this, you can say email address, or maybe you can say department. So I can say I can go and see easily here, employee information page, right? Dot. You can say here what is the departments, right? So now I can say you can say department dot, you can say selected item, and if I just enter it, then it will tell me HR, right? And see here on the front end, I have selected HR. So now you can easily debug it and you can see the value and you can move one by one and you can just complete your process. So yeah, this is all about the unified apps. I mean, you can build your automations more quicker, more faster, more unified at the one place. Over to you, Arpita.
Yes, Arvind, I think we will go to Q&A sessions. We have questions
Yeah, we can
from
go to the
Ashok.
Q&A.
Yes.
Anyone's have questions, we can sort it out.
Yes, I think two questions are there. Ashok
Okay.
and Piyush.
Okay. I have been. Can we read the workflow like the one query entity instead of having separate workflow for each activity? Right now, this workflow is running into private kind of object. So if once you create, I mean, for one object, you cannot reuse it. So maybe you can create outside and you can reuse it. So we have already given the feedback, but right now it's working like a kind of a private object. So once you create for one kind of class, you can use under that only. Do we have a limit of 1K record from data service in that this as well, or it has been resolved? No, this is not the issue of the apps. This is the issue of the data service. So data service does not expose more than 1,000 records. So it's not related to apps or unified apps. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, good. So maybe Arpita, you can go ahead.
Okay, okay, okay. Then so let's wrap it up. Then I think no more questions are coming up. We will wrap it up. So thank
Yeah,
you all for joining us today and being part of this incredible event. We hope the insight shared, the technology demonstrated, and the discussion held have given you a clear understanding. We look forward to continue this conversation with you and supporting you as you take the next steps in your automation journey. Thank you, and let's stay connected.
thank you. Thank you everyone for joining this session.